Today, guys, we're looking at a completely nested alcohol fuel stove system that you can put together. The parts and pieces are going to cost you less than $25, and this is going to have everything in it needed, including fuel for a multi-day trip. Before we dive into this and take all the parts and pieces out, let's jump online and see what we need to purchase first. So the first thing we're going to need is a Stanley Adventure Camp cook set. You can get these on Amazon right now for $14.12. That's going to be the main component of this system. Next, we are going to need an Ozark Trail Camp Cup. Boom, so $4.97 Ozark Trail 18-ounce stainless steel cup. That is what's on bottom here. What's cool is it's got these long handles so you can cook with it. It also, if you look at this picture, looks way different because it's been on campfires many, many times. Ferro rod. All right, on Amazon, not featured. We'll go low to high, get the cheap one. All right, so $2.98. Ferro rod is not necessarily. Typically, you're going to use matches, you're going to use a lighter, but it's something I keep in this kit, and it is nice to have. And the last thing we need to buy, as everybody knows, Martinelli's apple juice. So we're going to get a Martinelli's apple juice bottle. This is going to store our fuel, but it's also the perfect size for the system. Martinelli's apple juice. You have to put 10 ounce. Actually, you got to put 10 ounce PET. Martinelli's 10-ounce PET. Why they call those bottles PET bottles, I don't know. But typically Martinelli's bottles are going to be glass bottles. These are plastic. It's exactly what we need to carry fuel in this setup. Okay, here we go. Target has Martinelli's apple juice, a 4-pack for $5. All right, so one we'll say is $1.25. Boom. So let me pull all the parts and pieces out. We'll take a look at it. Then we'll jump on the computer and go through some clips from some trips in California and Colorado so you can see what the setup looks like out in the field. So the first piece we have is the camp cup on the outside. This is the Ozark Trail Camp Cup for $5. What I like about this is the long handles. Many camp cups are going to have little bitty ones that you can hold on to and drink tea out of very nicely, but you can't cook over a fire with it the same way you can with this. Nice cup to have. It also fits very conveniently around the Stanley Adventure Camp set. So this is a nice little one-piece unit, goes right into your pack. Next thing we have is the actual Stanley Adventure Camp set. These are very common equipment. You see them all the time. I bought this maybe 8 years ago. It was the first camp set that I put together on my own, where I sourced all the parts and pieces, figured out what works best, and had fun DIYing and Myogging? I think it's Myog, M-Y-O-G, we'll see. So if you look here, guys, at what you get, you're gonna get the cook set, but you also get these 2 green mugs as well, right? These 2 insulated green mugs, nice to have. I tossed them, I don't even use them because what I wanted was room inside to carry all my stuff. Again, nice cups, I just don't use them. So this unit, guys, once we open this up, quick reminder, and I'll show you here, this little tab that you've got on top, you can close it when you lock it down, but when you're cooking, you should leave it up. I unfortunately was boiling water one time, didn't think, left it down, and you can see it's melted it, deformed it, but as a testament to the quality of this equipment, guys, it still works just fine. So I use it like this, but you got the lid. One other cool thing about this lid is there are holes up here for draining water. If you wanted to cook inside of this pot, you could cook noodles or rice, drain water out if you wanted to do so. Typically when you're backpacking, you're not gonna drain water though, right? You're gonna cook it either perfectly, or if it's a little sloppy, go ahead and drink what's there, right? I also never cook in this unit, guys. I cook in the camp cup. If I'm gonna cook in something, if I'm doing mac and cheese, if I'm doing pasta or something, I will cook in this itself. This is for carrying my gear, my cook set, and it's for boiling water. Boiling clean water, typically. Next thing we're pulling out are the 2 stove accessories. You've got a snuffer. This is for taking the oxygen away from the stove. and putting it out, right? This is an alcohol stove. There's no on or off switch, but you can take oxygen away. That'll turn off the stove. We've also got a simmer ring, and a simmer ring is just the top of a can, guys, that you've cut off. And when you want to, let's say, not have a fierce boil, but if you're making soup or mac and cheese and you need to simmer water for a while, you put this on top of the stove. It limits the amount of flame that goes out and it simmers water. It conserves fuel, but it also lets you boil at a lower temperature. Ferro rod, like I said, not necessary, but something that I've liked to keep in here. You literally just start a fire without any matches, without any lighter. Very difficult to use if it's cold. So if it's freezing or below freezing, hard to use that ferro rod. For me, hard. Maybe not you, but for me it is. All right, now we've got the stove itself. This is a soda can stove that I made many, many years ago. I have a full tutorial on how to make one of these step by step. I will link it in the description of the video. I will also try to throw it up here as a link in the corner for you. But you can make one of these yourselves out of a couple soda cans. And what this does for you is by using denatured alcohol as fuel, that's the prime fuel, you can use others, but denatured alcohol is best. This will then pressurize, it's a double-walled system, and jet gas out of these little vents to cook. In fact, if you look here, there's a few clips that I'll throw up of this video where I was cooking steaks, vegetables, or a steak, vegetables, mac and cheese. You can cook a lot of stuff with this, guys, other than just boiling water, but it's an alcohol stove. Next thing is the pot stand. So this is a pot stand made out of a can of beans. So it costs less than $1 and you got a meal out of it. What you need to make it though, it's part of the tutorial, like I said, for this stove, but you really just need kitchen scissors or shears, a church key to pop some holes right here, and then you've got a pot stand that fits right around your stove. Martinelli's apple juice bottle. We talked about the Martinelli's apple juice bottle a minute ago, and this is why you need one of these. It's 10 fluid ounces, thick plastic. This lid holds very well, and you keep your denatured alcohol in this. This size reservoir, for me, easily lasts on a 3-day trip. That's cooking at breakfast, night, and making a hot lunch or a hot tea at lunch. You can do 3 days with this, no problem. If it's a longer trip, you want to be carrying another bottle, right? You want to carry something else, and you want to be careful. In fact, when I was on my trip with my cousin in Palo Duro Canyon, I screwed up. I brought extra denatured alcohol in a Dasani bottle instead of this. Big mistake, because the very first night I went to mix an emergency, and instead of pouring water in, I poured in alcohol, and it was just a mess. I had to dispose of it. It was sticky. It was just disgusting. Plus, I wasted all my fuel. The last thing in here is a wind guard. It's just made from foil. This is the entire setup, guys. Let's take a look online. I'm going to show you some clips from California on Mount Baldy and in Colorado on the Colorado Trail of this exact setup in use. Not to stand myself, but this is the very first video I ever put on this channel a long, long time ago, 4 years ago, in fact. This is solo backpacking Mount Baldy. This is Mount Baldy in the Angeles Forest of California. Not all the way at the top, but I found a cool spot to camp, and check this out. Hold on, let me go back. Oh, damn it. And then I was talking. Okay, so if I pause right here, you can see the exact setup that I have in use, right? The Stanley set, the wind guard, the camp cup. Here's the snuffer to put it out. Here's your alcohol. This is the whole deal right here. So let me let it go for a minute. Yeah, you can see boiling water. There we go. Let's peek at the stove. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Very nice. Okay. Let me move to a different clip. This next clip is from the Colorado Trail. This is segment 3. And let me go ahead and push play here. This is me. Let me get that mouse out of the way. This is me and my brother-in-law here. We're cooking some breakfast up. And again, you can see the whole camp setup. I'm snuffing it right now, putting it out. There we go. Mixing up my coffee. But this is actual use out on the field in the Colorado Trail, guys, right? Okay, so now you've seen a couple clips out there. That's 2 instances of me using this in the field. I use it all the time. I've even gotten more basic in my setup now. I'm using sterno in an Altoids can with a little flip stove or a folding stove. It's even easier and more basic than this. All the parts and pieces here, guys, like I said, less than $25 out of pocket. Really cool to make your own stove setup, have an alcohol stove that you can use that you know you made. I enjoy doing this a lot, and hopefully you guys took something away from that too. This is the first kit and piece of gear that I put together on my own, where I sourced all the parts and pieces, found what fit together well, and was very, very proud of the setup, but also enjoyed using it because people see it as a novelty, right? I'm a bit of a contrarian just to begin with. If something's the most popular out there, I try to avoid it and stick away from it, right? You'll see me on the Colorado Trail using a $30 Ozark Trail backpacker tent. Check out the review if you haven't. But that's stuff that I like to do because for whatever reason, if everyone else is doing it, I'm a bit of a contrarian. Now, that being said, I like alcohol stoves over canister stoves. I've talked about it many times, so I won't go into that rant right now. Although I used a jet boil very recently. Shout out to David for the first time, and it's nice to have a mountain house cooking in about 3 minutes. That's pretty crazy. So let me do a quick setup here. We've got stove, got pot stand, got our cooking pot, got our lid. We can take our wind guard, position as necessary, and cook right here. Got everything we need. Now, once we were done, if we wanted to take this off, not like that, you'd burn your hand, but using the right handle, take this off. You could then, using this snuffer, let me move that out of the way, but you could take this snuffer, boom, put it out, that puts the flame out. One downside about alcohol stoves, guys, you can't use them in certain situations in certain places. Rocky Mountain National Park, for instance, is always under a level 1 fire ban. Because of that, your stove has to have an on and off switch. It has to be a canister stove. Cannot use this. The reason is there was some guy years and years ago who knocked a stove over in Rocky Mountain National Park, spilled alcohol fuel, just flamed, just bad fire, man. So can't do it with this, okay guys? You unfortunately can't use these in Rocky Mountain National Park. You can't use these anytime there's partial fire bans typically. Some wilderness areas out in California, out in like the Tahoe area, you can't use alcohol stoves. So know the rules, know the regulations. Let's put all this stuff back in real quick. I'll show you how it nests in here. So first thing we're gonna do is take the wind filter, the wind guard, and put it in here. All right. After that, we've got the fuel canister. Typically it's gonna be full, but right now I'm not using it, so it's empty. And that slides right in there nice and snug. Pot stand, that'll be the third thing that we put in here. We want that to go right about here. After that, we'll put the stove on top of the fuel can, or the fuel canister, or the fuel bottle. Whatever one works. All right, on top of this, we're gonna take that simmer ring. We're gonna put this on top. We've now got the snuff. The last thing, or not the last, but the snuffer, that goes here. Ferro rod goes on the sides. And that is it. We've got everything in here. Take a look, we're gonna put the lid on it, fold it over, lock it in. There it is. Everything needed for multi-day camping trips, full stove setup, cook setup, multiple uses. You can have mac and cheese going while you're drinking coffee. Less than $25 out of pocket if you want to put it together yourself. You can do it on your own. Lots of fun, right? Anybody who's still watching this right now, first of all, thank you very much. I appreciate it. If you've subscribed, notifications help, right? If you haven't, guys, make sure to subscribe. I appreciate it. It means a lot, and I always have fun with the comments and the interactions back and forth with you. So have a good day, guys. Stay safe. I will see you soon out there. Bye.